Hi everybody, welcome to Dynamo Sword Channel. I'm David, and today on Dynamo Sword Channel I will be reviewing the Ryujin Custom Wakizashi. As I enjoyed my Dragon King katana so much, I decided it needed a companion, or more specifically, I needed to complete it in a Daisho set. So I was browsing around the SBG or Sword Buyer's Guide classifieds and found this pre-owned Ryujin model for sale at a good price. Its fittings and color matched my Hana well, so I purchased it. So, how does this sword hold up, and how does it compare to other production katana on the market today? Or more specifically, as a wakizashi, a more elusive type of sword on the production market? Well, we'll take a look and we'll find out today. This sword classifies as a wakizashi. The wakizashi was the companion sword or short sword of the samurai. In battle, it was primarily used when either the samurai lacked his primary blade, the katana, or it could be used in the offhand to parry in the kenjutsu style of Naiten Ichi Ryu. Founded and made famous by legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi. Normally, the wakizashi would be worn with the longer katana in unison. This was termed as daisho, meaning the combination of long sword or daito and short sword shoto. It was common for two blades to be worn in this fashion in the Muromachi period, but the wakizashi itself didn't gain prominence until the early Edo period in the 16th century. The wakizashi would also be worn indoors, such as in a lord's home or during a gathering of samurai where the katana would be deemed taboo to carry. It was considered a high symbol of status to wear a daisho with matching blades and kushire or hilt fillings in the Edo period, but its expense prevented many samurai from doing so, with many lower class samurai not affording wakizashi at all and wore either no secondary sword or the shorter tanto, a more dagger-sized blade. Next, let's look at the overall statistics of this sword. The overall length is 26 inches. It has a weight of 1 pound 9 ounces with a point of balance at about 2.5 inches from the hilt. The class of blade would again be a wakizashi or shoto in the Shinto era or Edo period regulation style, much like my Hana katana with its all black fittings and simple traditional furniture. The blade's total length is 16 5/8 of an inch, and that is from the habaki to the tip. The blade width is 1.25 inches at the base habaki, and that tapers down to about 5/8 of an inch at the kisaki. The blade material is a differentially hardened T-10. Now the finish is a full mirror polish, and the hamon is a choji midair with acid enhancement. The sori of this wakizashi is 1 inch, and the kisaki length is 1.75 of an inch and is in the ko kisaki termination. The blade style would be considered more of the shinogi zakuri style, which was a standard blade style of the Muromachi and Edo periods. The Suba dimensions is 1 3/8 by 1 3/8 across. The material is a blackened iron with gold motifs of bamboo and blossom. The habaki length is 1 1/8 of an inch, and it is a single piece of brass. The seppa are the more flattened coin fret style, I guess you could call them, brass seppa, so kind of the more flatter variety you see on lower end production katana. The style of suba is what would be known as the marugata, or the full circle suba, as is pretty common on traditional katana. And again, that does have that nice blossom, and on the ora side, bamboo painted gold motif. The suka's total length is 7 3/4 inches. Its circumference at the fuchi is 4 1/4 inches, and this suka has no taper, as the termination at the kashira is also 4 1/4 inches. The suka material is a wood core, and it has small node Samagawa panels. The ito is a black chemical fiber ito wrapped in the hinerimaki style, and it does not feature hishigami. The koshire, or furniture, of the wakizashi are blackened iron like the suba. The fuchi has more of a sunset accent to it, but it's quite plain, as you can see. Where the kashira, in more traditional uchikatana style, does have a yin-yang accent to it on the end. The manuki, or handle furniture, are brass in a Buddha spear pattern, and the hilt construction itself is pinned via a single mikugi, or smoked bamboo pin. And finally, we'll look at the saya. The saya's total length is 19 5/8 inch. It is made of a nice hard wood, and the saya finish is a black textured matte finish. Now, the koiguchi is lacquered wood and does not feature buffalo horn. The kurigata is lacquered wood with little brass shiridomi to hold the sagio, and there is no kojiri on this saya, and it's just kind of shaped and rounded at the end. The sagio is a black cotton commonly seen on lower end Chinese production katana, and it is tied in the traditional triple knot design that most production katana models come with. Now, as far as the fit of this saya, it isn't too bad. It's not super tight, but it does hold the blade. It does have rattle to it, as you can hear, but again, this is just what, kind of what we mentioned in the Hana katana. You get what you pay for, and for the budget pricing, this is pretty standard for your typical Chinese manufactured lower end sub $200 saya that you would get with either a katana or wakizashi. It does house the blade. It does draw nicely. It does go in, but again, a little more attention to detail would have been nice. I've seen other swords in the sub $200 price point offer horn fittings and a little more shape to the suka or sai, I mean, in things. But overall, not much to complain about. It does house the sword well. It does have the nice matte finish, and overall holds the blade, well, fairly well. In conclusion, I must say I was a little disappointed by this sword. For the price point, it offers a nice functional wakizashi, but it is hindered by what I would call shortcuts to its overall fit and finish. The one shortcut that definitely stands out the most to me is the suka. It is not properly shaped and fitted to the koshire, and it appears to simply be a katana suka cut down to fit the wakizashi blade length. And if I pull up the fuchi, you can see right there, it is just pretty much flat, like they literally just sawed a standard 10-inch suka and then glued poorly, which has already come loose, the kashira. So there's a little better shot of that. The other thing is definitely the more bulky shape of the suka. It's what is kind of more coined in the sword market as axe handle. It's just, I would have liked to see a little more taper to it. That would have been nice. Onto the ito, the synthetic ito, even though it is alternating, it is not wrapped very well, and you can definitely tell, as you can see on the ends and just kind of how it pulls, that rather than using hishigami to tighten the folds, it's actually glued to the suka, which is another disappointing aspect in regards to customization, or even kind of fixing it if it comes loose. This is really disappointing to me, as I would like to see the suka fitted to the actual tang and kashira. Instead, the suka itself is actually shimmed cheaply with a strip of banding inside the suka, and the kashira, as I mentioned, is simply glued to the top where they cut the suka to length. The finish of the fuchi was also oddly cut and didn't fit flush to the suba or seppa, but to remedy to this, I did grind down the fuchi and made it flatter and more flush, and then to remedy the gap, I did add an extra seppa to the suba to kind of fill that gap. Even though I must say the blade is nicely shaped, it features the more common mirror polish and acid etching to enhance the haman, which is pretty common in the sub $200 price range. I mean, overall, these issues aren't uncommon with most Longquan Chinese direct forges. But when you're paying equal price for a wakizashi as you would pay for a full katana, you do kind of expect better fit, or at least equal fit and finish in regards to the suka in koshire. Regarding Ryujin as a manufacturer, I sadly expected more from them for the $200 price point. The owner and operator of Ryujin is none other than Mr. Sam Sung, who is well known for putting Musashi swords on the map as one of the best sub $200 katana on the production market for the last decade or more. I expected the finer attention to detail and fit and finish that I've experienced from Musashi, but was surprised by the number of shortcuts used on this sword. Perhaps I'm just unfamiliar with the sub $200 wakizashi market. Wakizashi are not seen much at this lower price point, and there are varied opinions in the quality when it comes to online reviews and feedback on the seller sites. I would hope to see a better product in their higher priced wakizashi, but feel again, most Chinese-based manufacturers, in my opinion, definitely put more focus on the blades rather than the overall fit and finish of the Suka and Koshire. In the end, I feel I got a decent sword for the second-hand price I paid for it. But honestly, as a new purchase, I have a hard time recommending the Ryujin Wakizashi, as there are better offerings from other manufacturers like Hanwei, Dynasty Forge, or Ronin Katana for only around $50 more, give or take. The one benefit of going with Ryujin is they are offered by two vendors with extremely high reputations in the buyer market, and those are swordandarmory.com and of course the Sword Buyer's Guide store. Also, these swords can be moderately customized for no additional price with various koshire in colors of Saya and Ito, similar to other Chinese direct forges that you find on eBay and things. But again, much like those swords, sometimes it's better to go to a reputable manufacturer and get a full package sword for maybe $100 more or so, rather than really focus on kind of fitting shape or style or colors that might not be available on stock models. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Ryujin Custom Wakizashi. Be sure to like and subscribe, as well as look forward to the cutting review with follow-up discussion that should be releasing soon. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.